Welcome to Classics for Kids. I'm Naomi Lewin. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov wrote The Flight of the Bumblebee for an opera called The Tale of Tsar Saltan. Actually, that's just the Reader's Digest abridged version of the title. The full Monty is The Legend of Tsar Saltan, of his son, the famous and mighty hero Prince Kvidan Sultanovich, and of the beautiful Swan Princess. And if that title weren't enough, the plot is one of the most complicated in all of operadom, and that's saying a lot. The Tale of Tsar Saltan is based on a story by the great Russian poet Alexander Pushkin. Once upon a time, 3 sisters sat around discussing what they would do if they were married to the Tsar. That's Russian for ruler of the country. The first sister said she would make a huge feast. The second sister said she would weave beautiful cloth, and the third sister said she would bear Tsar Saltan a strong, brave son. The Tsar was listening in on the conversation and promptly married the sister who said she'd bear him a son. Then he told the feast sister she could be the palace cook, and the cloth sister that she could be the royal weaver. They were not amused. Pretty soon, the newly married Tsarina, or Mrs. Tsar, was expecting a child. But before the baby was born, her husband had to go off to war. After the Tsar left, the Tsarina had a baby boy, known as the Tsarevich, or son of Tsar. The Tsarina sent her husband a message saying that they'd had a beautiful, healthy son, but her jealous sisters substituted a different message saying that she'd given birth to a monster. When he heard that, the Tsar was very unhappy and sent back a message saying not to do anything until he got home. But the sisters intercepted that message too, and substituted one saying that the Tsarina and her son should be put into a barrel and thrown into the sea. Because this is a fairy tale, not only did they survive, but the boy actually grew up hour by hour as the barrel tossed on the water. When mother and son washed ashore on an island, the first thing the Tsarevich did was save the life of an enchanted swan. The swan thanked him by making a beautiful city appear, and Prince Gvidon, as the Tsarevich was now known, became ruler of that city. By now, you're probably saying, I thought there was supposed to be a flying bee somewhere in this story. So far, the only thing with wings has been an enchanted swan. Well, to make a long story not quite as long, some people who traveled through Prince Gvidon's city told him about Tsar Saltan's kingdom, and Tsar Saltan heard from those same travelers about the amazing place where Prince Gvidon lived. So each of them really wanted to visit the other. Prince Gvidon got there first with help from the enchanted swan, who let him pay 3 visits in disguise. First as a mosquito, then as a fly, and then, you guessed it, as a bee. When Tsar Saltan got to visit the prince, he was delighted to see his long-lost son and all the miraculous things in Prince Gvidon's city. There was a squirrel that pulled emerald nuts out of golden shells. A band of 33 knights that marched out of the ocean in shining armor. Princess more beautiful than the sun, with moonlight in her hair and starlight in her face. princess was the enchanted swan, freed from her spell and changed back to a human being. Naturally, she and the prince got married and lived happily ever after. Next week on Classics for Kids, famous music from other Russian operas. I'm Naomi Lewin. I write Classics for Kids and produce it with Tim Latter at WGUC Cincinnati. Please join me next time for more Classics for Kids.